Hey guys, welcome to Tiana's Divine Truth, and today I want to talk to you guys about what? Resentment. That's right, y'all. Resentment. If you don't tackle resentment, you can do all the healing you want, but you will always be still stuck in the same space. If you're a person who is normally always giving and you feel good giving to other people, but eventually you run out of energy, you run out of stuff to give, right? And that's okay, that happens, that's life, right? But if you feel like you're always giving to someone and giving your energy to situations and spaces and not getting that energy back in return, that obviously builds resentment. So the reason it's very important for you to identify the emotions you're feeling in every given situation is that once you can identify that emotion, you can actually heal it. Let's say at the beginning of my healing journey, I couldn't identify that feeling that I always felt when I was feeling the word. Now I can say it's resentment, but I didn't know it was resentment at the time. I just know I always felt a way when a certain situation happened, when I felt like my needs weren't being met, but I was meeting everybody else's needs. When I felt like I was doing so much to help other people, but I wasn't getting that same energy in return. I didn't understand what that feeling was because my natural state of being is just, yeah, of course, yeah, of course, yeah, of course. And it's not because, and I wasn't giving to please other people. Giving literally just makes me that happy. Their happiness feeds me too, right? If you're happy, okay, I'm happy. If you're happy, okay, I'm happy. And the thing is, I was just happy making other people happy. I thought I was making myself happy, but I guess I wasn't. But I think why I wasn't was because sometimes the problem with when you're a type of person who likes to give is that you assume that other people are exactly like you. If you're paired up with someone who's exactly like you, who gives exactly as much as you, then guess what? You have equal give and take. There is no resentment because when you're low, they're full and they fill you back up. And then you can just keep passing the buck, or you can just be in the middle and you both are fine. But when you're in a situation where you're the giver and you just keep give, and this person just keeps getting fat and heavy and fat and heavy, and you're like, why am I losing all this weight? Then all of a sudden you're like, what is this? Why aren't they doing the same thing for me? That's kind of when you get to the realization that not everyone is built to give, and not everyone likes to give, and sometimes people just like to take. There's people who don't know they're taking, there's people who intentionally take, and then there's people who are just sometimes they're just not built that way. They weren't raised that way, they weren't built that way. And do you really want to train them to do the thing that you want them to do? Like, make that somebody else's problem, not yours, okay? Send it that way, you know? Make that, maybe they can learn the lesson in your relationship and then somebody else can go teach it to them, you know? Like they can know, oh yeah, maybe I should give more in this relationship. But do you really want to be the one in that relationship teaching them that lesson? Or do you want to find someone who can give you as much as you need right away, right? You would rather it be that way. Shit, I got off course here. But yeah, so the main point of this story is that resentment, unhealed resentment in your life will show up through anger, through bitterness, through you feeling isolated, through you feeling alienated. So you just and eventually you'll start being depressed, and you don't know why you're depressed. And it's honestly sometimes it's just the anger that you've suppressed because you don't know it's there, the resentment that's bubbling because you don't have the right words to identify that feeling. Resentment is a sign that you've given too much of your power away. It's a sign that you're no longer holding and honoring your boundaries, or maybe you haven't had them, you don't have boundaries, or your boundaries are slipping. Your boundaries are necessary and they're put in place to protect you, to protect your energy, so that even though you are one of those people who likes to give to others, you still have stuff for yourself. You don't feel like you're always self-sacrificing for other people and not for yourself. There's a quote that I love to say, not a quote, but an idea I like to always share now. And it was from a friend, and she had written a poem, and it was a beautiful poem. When she decides to share that poem and that book, I will definitely share it with you guys. In her poem, she mentioned that we are always sacrificing for other people, but do we ever sacrifice for ourselves? And I remember hearing that word, and I was like, this is prolific. That is true. Think about it. I could think back for my whole decade, my whole 10 years before now. all that time frame, I was self-sacrificing for other people, and I didn't sacrifice anything for myself. Actually, I did. I sacrificed sleep for myself because I was trying to do my thing and everybody else's. But if I was supposed to put a whole tray in front of me, or a scale in front of me, I could say that the times I self-sacrificed for myself were like down here while everyone else was like building a mountain. And that obviously eventually depletes you, because you're not sacrificing in order to put into your energy, put into your domain, put into your cup, put into your energy. You know, you're always just being taken from. And sometimes you can't help it. There's going to be periods of your life where you're always going to be giving more than you're receiving, but that shouldn't be a constant thing. It should always be balanced in some way. Like if you have to give more time this way, you give more time to this endeavor, you have to feed your energy in a different way. So that's why the whole concept of love yourself first is very important. And loving yourself first doesn't mean that you're selfish. Anyone who says that you're selfish for loving yourself first is just mad because you pulled back your energy. They're just mad that you are no longer putting your energy into them, because you feel like, one, I'm going to put it there, but it's going to go nowhere. I'll never see the rewards of that energy that I inputted to that person. And yes, giving to get isn't the concept, but you never give to receive. But there is a difference between someone who's always taking and never appreciative of the things that you're giving. It's like, think of it like this. If you ask God for something, God will give you something, but he wants to know that you're going to be grateful for it. You're going to appreciate it. You're going to do good with the things that he's giving you. This is why they always say gratitude, appreciation, you know, because the more gratitude that there is, the more the universe can give you. Be like, oh, she's grateful for what I'm giving her. Let me send her some more. Oh, she really likes that. Okay, let me send that some more. It's kind of like someone who, think of it like this. Someone who loves you, who sees that you're happy, with what they've given you, is going to be like, oh wow, I feel great, let me give her more, right? And that's kind of the whole concept. They are happy that you're happy, so they continue to fill your cup. But it should also be reciprocated. You're happy, they're happy that you're getting them, so they feel filled also. Like, if it's not, or else what's the point? What is the point? I don't get it. Why would you do this? Oh my God, okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that message about resentment. And I encourage you guys to look at your lives and feel, and just really think about, where in your life who do you feel resentful towards and why? That's one. Where do you feel the most resentment? Like, do you feel resentment about your career, about your love life, about your friendships, about your family? And really isolate that. Like, what actions happened? Why did it happen? And what can I change in my current life right now to release that resentment? For me, how I released that resentment was I was giving too much of my own physical resources, and I was expecting someone else to assist me in the middle when they had more resources at the time, right? But when that didn't happen, I realized that, oh, not everyone thinks like me, and that's okay. You know, you just gotta accept that not everyone thinks like you, but what that means is now I have to meet that person in terms of resources where they are, because then it would be unbalanced. And it took a while to adapt, but eventually it became a normal. If you're someone who likes to give, but you feel like you're in a situation where you can't give at all, you actually feel more you actually have another type of, you have the flip. You feel resentful for not being able to give. I know this is wild, right? You're like, what? They're not giving me what I need? Okay, I'm gonna pull back and not give them shit. But now you're going it completely against your nature. That's how you know that you have a giving nature versus it being trained into. When you start feeling resentful for not being able to give something to someone because they don't give you enough of what you need, then you have a giving nature. But that's why you have to, now the resentment for giving is gone, but now the resentment for not giving is here. How do you resolve that? Simple. When you feel like giving, give. And when you don't feel like giving, don't give. Don't give. When you feel guilty for not giving, don't give. Don't give it. If you feel guilty for not giving, don't give it. If you don't feel guilty for not giving, If you feel like giving it, then you can give. If you have the resources and you don't feel like giving, don't give. If you have the resources and you're like, I feel like giving today, then give it. And that's how you call your power back, because now you're no longer giving from a place of resentment, guilt, and you've tackled, actually, by doing it this way, and the reason this is important is you've actually tackled 3 issues. You've tackled guilt of not giving, you've tackled the resentment of not being able to give, and you've tackled the resentment of over-giving too much. But that's kind of the problem once you heal one emotion and you've like isolated that one emotion throughout your different experiences, like resentment for this friend, resentment for this family member. Once you start tackling, let's just pick a emotion, tackle resentment. Once you tackle all of that resentment, then obviously new emotions will arise. The next one might be guilt. The next one might be shame. The next one might be anger. It's like a spectrum that keeps on going, but that's how you begin the healing journey. So today we only talked about resentment, but in my next video, I'm going to talk about guilt. Yay! The joys of guilt! So I hope you guys enjoyed that message. This was Tiana's Divine Truth, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!